Hey guys, Lytane here, and man, this game is new and odd. Just like, look at this intro here. This is Sydney. They say it's the biggest city in all of Australia. I used to work here, but how quickly things can change. That's me. I'm Lytane. I was a good employee, now I'm a couch potato. I crossed the meanest virus in the world, COVID-19. My whole life changed in just one day. I was working early one day in events. We used to put on concerts until the concerts were through. We still hired out gear and we even did some live streams too. I thought I had a good job, but that was before I knew. How this virus was going to affect me, I was still to find. The truth, it turned out, now that would affect all mankind. The government was scared because the country was sick. Job loss and economy had become unstable. But ScoMo was cool. He had a plan. Don't be a hoarder. Just stop it. I lost faith. I just couldn't believe. This guy was in power, yet so naive. Get me into quarantine! Now, in all seriousness, I may not like all the actions taken by my government, but they are trying. These are very difficult times. It was just mostly for the joke, you know. So, yeah. Oddworld New N Tasty follows the adventures of Abe at Rupture Farms, where he discovers that his race of people, the MUDOKENS, are the next ones on the chopping block. Rupture Farms is known for making all different types of food, and they were doing quite well until they weren't. Now they need a new item on the menu, something new and tasty, as it were, and of course that happens to be Mudoken Pops. Abe finds this out and now has to escape, trying to find as many of his people along the way as he can in order to save them, and just maybe there will be a destiny involved. Now, all of this may sound very familiar to you, as it is the same story that was in the original game for the PlayStation 1. That's because this is a remake of the original game, and boy howdy, it is a full remake. This game was released in 2014 and was made by a small company called Just Add Water. They hadn't made anything of note before this game, but they were chosen because they had helped do the HD remasters of Stranger's Wrath and Munch's Oddysee, so they were familiar with the world. Oddworld inhabitants, including Lorne Lanning, oversaw the whole process and helped out where they could, but a lot of the production was handled by Just Add Water. Now, if you compare the two games side by side, you may notice that there is a slight difference between the two. I know it's hard to tell, but trust me, it is there. In all seriousness, the New and Tasty game was remade from the ground up, completely brand new. It does use the same levels, it does use the same level design, the same characters, and the same puzzles as the original, but they have been tweaked for this new game. I was a little skeptical when I first saw this new style because I was wondering how are they going to translate the puzzles into this, because part of the original design was screen transitions, and not knowing what was on the next screen could both be a very good thing and a very bad thing, because sometimes you would just plow headlong into a bad guy or a trap or something like that. Not knowing what was awaiting you was part of the puzzle. This game instead goes for the scrolling camera. It has a nice dynamic feel to it. It zooms in, it zooms out, it pans and scrolls as you need it to in order to show all the information that you need on the screen. This helps with the puzzles as it means you can grasp everything that's going on, or at least have more information than what you did have in the other game. This, to me, made the game a lot easier and quicker to get through. I did have prior knowledge of most of the puzzles thanks to the original, but I still found this new game to be pretty challenging in places. The new ways to complete the puzzles and a new way to interact with the elements has kept it all fresh as well. It isn't just a graphical upgrade, the whole game has been upgraded to suit this new camera style. Take this part for example. The original on the left has two Mudokens that you need to get under the saw blade, while the new one has multiple floors with electric fences. They both have the same saw trap at the bottom, but the nature of the puzzle is different. As you may notice as well, there are a lot more people to save in New and Tasty. It went from 99 to 299. That is a massive jump. But it doesn't really change anything. It just means that there are more people to save in the same puzzles. They do change the puzzles up a little bit because you need to get more people through traps, but that's about it. There are a few puzzles that have been redesigned so you can get a few more Mudokens in a slightly different way, like the one I just showed you, and there are also a couple of new locations with brand new Mudokens that weren't in the original. Because of the mass amount of people, they added the Olia command to the game, and thank Thank God they did that. Now you can command all the Mudokens as you see fit. Once again, that makes the game a little bit easier, as part of the challenge was getting each of the Mudokens through each trap one by one. But now you have to try and get a group of them through traps, and you can't always use the Aulia command because sometimes other people are sectioned off and they will die if you say follow me. I don't mind this change though. I think it is a welcome addition and it makes the whole game more streamlined. Abe controls a little bit differently as well. Now in the original, it is a very grid-based system. You take a step, you'll go 1 square away. You take a hop, you'll always go 3 squares away. Because of this, you have full control over Abe, and you have very precise control because you know exactly what's going to happen given any type of movement that you put in. New and Tasty got rid of that completely, and it makes sense. It's a new game, it's a 3D environment, and all that kinds of stuff. They got rid of the grid-based system. But doing so, it makes the game so much less precise. There are so many times where I would try and get to a bomb or get to a location where I need to jump or do something, only to take 1 step too far, or the step that I did take was too large and I would touch the bomb and explode and die. And I never got used to it. In my entire time playing this game, I've never ever got used to it. What also resulted in many deaths was the jump. Now you have to press right and then the jump button in order to hop, and that sounds fine on paper, except with so much precision platforming I fell to my death very often, or even walked into something that I didn't want to, such as a bomb. I was so frustrated when I first got this game, and it left a sour taste in my mouth. But they have since fixed this with an option in the controls to turn X into a dedicated hop button. This fixes every issue I ever had with that jump. They also added a dedicated run button too. Before that, Abe's movement was purely based on the analog stick, with the sneak being its own button. I much prefer having the run button, as it makes me feel like I have way more control over Abe. Honestly, these two little changes make the gameplay so well, and it's definitely a good idea to turn both of them on before you even start playing. And this game is still fun. It's basically the original with a new coat of paint on it to make it shinier and new and tasty, with a few quality of life improvements as well, such as the quick save. Now, the quick save breaks this game. The original did not have it. It was introduced in Exodus, and basically the quick save says you can make a save point almost anywhere in the game at your choice. Then you can do a quick load to go back to that spot and do anything again. This breaks the game because you can quick save before you do anything. So say you get to a bomb and it's one of those timed bombs. Make a quick save, and then if you make a mistake and blow up, instead of getting put back at the respawn point and having to do the entire section up until that point again, just quick load. Now you got another shot at the bomb. It makes it so incredibly easy to get through this game. Most of the challenge that was there from the original is gone. With everything I've said so far, I don't think that New and Tasty replaces the PS1 original. While nearly everything has been improved, the difficulty has been reduced. At the start of the game, you can choose to play on easy, medium, and hard. If you play on easy or medium, you are given health, meaning that you can take a stray bullet from a slig and not die. Hard mode makes everything kill you in one hit. I get why they added easy modes and even the quick saves, because it makes the game more accessible to more people, and you don't have to play like that. You can put it on hard and you never have to use the quick saves for the ultimate hardcore experience. But beating the original will still be more satisfying because it was harder, because you didn't have these kinds of quality of life improvements to ignore. When you have to clear multiple bonus areas because the game doesn't save after you finish one is frustrating, but if you manage to do it, it makes you feel really accomplished. I never got those feelings when I was playing New and Tasty. Because of all the quick saves and the constant checkpoints, I never felt that big accomplishment for doing something. But I never felt that giant amount of frustration either. Never did I get to a point where I'd solved so many puzzles only to fail right at the end and being put back so far. That's non-existent here, and that's fantastic. Another minor thing is that this game looks very cartoony and nice. For the most part, I love the way that this game looks. Except for Rupture Farms. It's too clean, it's too bright, it's too much like a cartoon. It doesn't have that evil, dirty, disgusting aesthetic found in the original. I mean, they made that choice and I think it was a bad one. It just feels too cartoony and not sinister. Now the rest of the game looks nice in this new art style, but I think Rupture Farms should have been done differently. The last thing to talk about is the DLC for the game, Alfs Escape. This is an extra bonus level to the game where Abe has to go and save Alf, the barman himself. It's pretty difficult and it's a very good challenge. It's supposed to be played after you finish the game where you understand all the mechanics, and it's a welcome thing as well because it is so much harder than most of the game. You only have one goal in this level: save Alf, and there are so many hazards in the way. Also, after finding him, you have to lead him all the way back to the start in order to save him. I think it was a very fun and a very good extra level to the game, but I don't think it's worth $5. That's 1/6 of the full price of the game. That's like saying $15 for a single 30-minute DLC in a AAA title, and most people would not like that. Only get this DLC if it's on special or if you're a massive fan of the game. Otherwise, you can easily skip it. In my opinion, I think that Oddworld New N Tasty is worth it. It is such a fun game to play. Being based on an incredible PS1 game definitely helped it out here. All of the puzzles are so fun and so unique and fairly challenging, and I like how they have been upgraded for this new style. That dynamic camera is really nice, and being able to see all different parts of the environment and the sweeping, zooming in and all that stuff is really nice. I like the new look of the game, except for Rupture Farms. Even though I still like the look of it, the aesthetic of the original is still better. The controls are fairly okay and good, a little bit finicky with precision, but honestly, with the new upgrades that they added with like the dedicated hop and the dedicated run button, the controls are good. I don't think that New N Tasty completely replaces the original PS1 game because that has so many different things to offer and a different kind of challenge. But if you were to only play one, I would say play New N Tasty. It's easier to find, it's easy to get a hold of and download and play, and it's the overall better experience for new players instead of being really hard and really crazy like the original. Because of that, I would recommend the new one. Also, I cannot wait for Soulstorm to come out. Oh my god, the remake to Exodus. It's been teased for so long and I cannot wait. Hopefully it releases before April next year so I can play it and review it as part of my yearly anniversary thing. If not, it's alright, I've got another idea for next year, that's fine. Also, don't forget to subscribe and tell me what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that New N Tasty completely gets rid of the original, or do you think the original is superior? Or if you're like me and you think they both have merits and both of them are equally fun for different reasons, though I'd probably play the New N Tasty more because it's less frustrating, but yeah, that's just me. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! In my opinion, I think that Oddworld Abe's Oddysee is... Yeah, Oddworld Abe's Oddysee. That is definitely worth it, but I'm talking about New N Tasty. My bad. So out of practice. It's been like 6 months.